Hello from Scotland. I'm here on a delightfully warm day. I'm actually recording this in June, and yesterday it bucketed it down. The day before it was gloriously sunny, and today it's okay. It's okay. I've got my fingers crossed. And you might be able to hear in the background there are some oyster catchers behind me. They are going up and down outside where I'm staying, and there's a mummy oyster catcher and 3 baby oyster catchers, and I can really empathise with her because one of the babies keeps running off in the opposite direction to its siblings, so she has to go running after it, and then the other 2 go running off the other way, the way they were going to start with. So then she's trying to round them all up and she's yelling at them. Oh my word, she knows how to shout, and they're shouting back. So yeah, I feel for her. It must be very stressful. But anyway, I'm here at Loch Lomond, and I'm here to research the locations for McBride Tanner Book 3, Power and Treachery. Now, there she is again. I'm staying in a hotel that I'm not going to name because it's not the hotel that's in the book, but it was the hotel that inspired the location in the book. So in the book, the G7 is meeting at a fancy hotel on the banks of Loch Fyne, which is about an hour's drive that way, away from Loch Lomond, further north of Glasgow, which gives Jade and Petra and Mo and the rest of the team the usual kinds of headaches in terms of getting to their crime scene. But anyway, the G7 is meeting, all the major world leaders are there, and all of a sudden somebody dies very early in the morning on one of the days of the summit. And then they discover that somebody else has died, and then somebody else has died. And it turns out that 3 men all died at the same time, the exact same time at the G7 summit. And all of these men, none of them are the world leaders themselves, none of them are the premiers, prime ministers, presidents, head of state, but they're all very close to the head of state. And so is this a political incident? Is it a terrorist attack? Or is it just a coincidence? Because all 3 men look like they died either of natural causes or of an accident. One of them falls in the shower, knocks his head on the shower attachment. One of them has a stroke and one of them has a heart attack. So the authorities, in the form of the Scottish First Minister's staff, are telling Jade and her team to back off. They're saying this is not suspicious, there's no murders, but that they need to leave well alone and leave it up to them to repatriate the bodies and deal with it quietly. And they're trying to keep it out of the news as well because they don't want an international incident. But then they learn, Jade and her team, learn that the French have arrested somebody and they think that it's a terrorist attack. So the question is, are the French right? Are the French lying to the Scottish government and to the American government and the British government? Is Jade and her team, have they got an inkling of knowing something that's going on here? So they bring Petra in, of course, because they want somebody who will understand the psychology of a person who might commit this kind of crime. Why have they staged all of these deaths to happen at the exact time at this event? And these 3 men who die, they're not in the same room together. They're in different parts of the hotel. Some of them are out. Well, one of them's outside. One of them's in his bathroom in the shower. And there are some suspicious things. People drinking heavily the night before. Could it have just been an accident because they were drunk? But anyway, Jade starts to discover coincidences. There are links between these people. And those links might just involve somebody who's close to the team. But I'm not going to tell you who that person is. You will find all that out when you read McBride Tanner Book 3, Power and Treachery, which will be coming out in the autumn. And the audiobook will be coming out very soon after the ebook and the paperback. And yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy reading not only about Loch Lomond, where Jade lives, but also about Loch Fyne, which is a not dissimilar landscape, but it gives you a bit of variety and shows us an imaginary hotel that I've invented and put on the banks of Loch Fyne. because I'm not going to set it in a real hotel because the staff aren't exactly helpful, and some of them might be suspects. So yes, that's McBride and Tanner Book 3, Power and Treachery. I've been having a lovely time doing my research, walking around Loch Lomond today, heading over towards Inverary to go and have a look at Loch Fyne, coming up with thoughts as to how the landscape can inspire the investigation and the crime, thinking about what it would be like for Jade to live along here, because Jade lives in a house somewhere behind me, along the banks of the loch, right on the A82, which is a very busy road that goes up past the western side of Loch Lomond. And if you remember right, in McBride Tanner Book 1, Blood and Money, the crime took place over there on the eastern side of Loch Lomond. But this time Jade has to keep driving close to her house, which you wouldn't expect would be a problem. But the fact is, Jade's former husband, her late husband Dan, died in a traffic accident right outside their house on the A82. Now, most people would probably move after that happened, but Jade is not most people. Her son Rory loves it there. She has happy memories of living there with Dan. He was a keen ornithologist, that was part of his job, and that's why they lived where they were. And they were probably watching oyster catchers. So, don't know where she's gone. Mummy oyster catcher and her wee bairns have disappeared somewhere. Sorry, I'm a Brummie, I shouldn't do Scottish. But yes, that is what's coming up in the McBride and Tanner series. And if you haven't read any of these books yet, I recommend you start with Blood and Money, which kicks off over on the other side of the loch with an American billionaire getting shot when he's out for his morning run. I'll see you very soon, and thanks for listening.